Hello and welcome to Michigan Theater and Film Talk. Welcome back, I should say. It's been over 2 years since my last video, and I might be a little rusty. Our channel, if you are new to our channel, is dedicated to helping actors become better artists. We offer 10-minute acting videos, talks about theater, film, and more, as well as highlighting Metro Detroit artists, theater artists, film artists, film professionals, theater professionals from Metro Detroit and from all over the state. And today I am very pleased to be having with me Terry Carpenter, who has been a stage manager here on the Meadow Brook stage for how many years?
40, basically. I started stage managing in the fall of '81, though I've been here on staff since spring of '79.
Wow. Wow.
And it's time for me to retire.
Yes, so this is one of the reasons why I dusted off my old equipment and came back out of, well, semi-retirement because of COVID, because we didn't want to lose a valuable interview with one of the best stage managers I have ever worked with. This man is calm and cool as a cucumber no matter what is happening out there, and that's what you want in a stage manager. And I didn't want to lose that. I didn't want to lose that opportunity. So I'm so happy that you agreed to sit down with me and talk with me about everything we're going to be talking about throughout this interview. So I guess 40 years. How did you get this job? What happened that you're here?
Well, I don't know that there's many people who don't know my stories, because I've told them a lot. But I went to college majoring in elementary education. The thought that I was going to be like a second grade teacher. Okay. And I always enjoyed theater as an audience member and as dramatic literature. Didn't get involved in theater until like my last semester of college. And then I stayed. I didn't get a teaching job. I was kind of the baby boomer glut that created the need for teachers, and then we all graduated from college and didn't have kids yet, so there were too many teachers, not enough kids. I took graduate courses, and then I realized that the courses I was choosing were like children's dramatic literature and play production for teachers, and so then I gave up that idea and just kept doing theater stuff. Met my wife Linda at a summer theater in Virginia.
So let's back up before you get to your wife. So you had to quit your day job or to get into theater.
Sort of, yes. Yeah, and then I've said that it wasn't that big a shift going from second graders to actors.
No. Having met and been one, I can.
It's are we all where are we supposed to be? Do we all have our sharpened pencil? Are we all playing nice with each other? So anyway, Linda and I met at a summer theater. She had worked here at Meadow Brook for 3 seasons in the costume shop. She had left to do some other things. She did a bus and truck tour. She did some things in New York with the Martha Graham Dance Company and National Shakespeare Company. We got married and spent a season at Coconut Grove Playhouse in Miami. I didn't really enjoy Miami. And Meadowbrook asked her to come back, and she said, "I'll come back if you find a job for my husband too." And we came to Michigan thinking we'd be here a couple of years, and then one of the stage managers left, which was the job I was really hoping to have, and they knew me and hired me. And
what did you start as?
Well, the very first thing I did was I sewed buttons in the costume shop. I ran sound and patch for a musical. I worked in the prop shop. I worked in the scene shop.
Wow. So you were all over the place.
I worked in the box office. I did a bunch of stuff. And then I got the assistant to the backstage technician. So I was running every show for 2 seasons. So they knew I was a capable person, I guess. So we thought, we'll stay 2 more years. We'll get a couple years of stage management credits on your resume. And then we were going to move back to New York City, where we'd been for a little bit beforehand. But then kids and one thing or another, and 4 decades went by.
Wow. So how was Meadow Brook different way back then than it is today? I mean, what was it like back then when you first started?
In terms of the theater, it was almost completely subscribed. You could hardly buy a ticket to Meadow Brook. But remember, this is like before Blockbuster even. There was before any kind of Netflix or whatever.
So no competition whatsoever.
Yeah, we were the only game in town. And when I first started, because so many people wanted to come to the theater on a Saturday night, we did shows at 6 o'clock and then another one at 9:30. So we fed the actors in between, but sometimes on a long show, like a Shakespeare or an old-fashioned 3-act show with 2 intermissions, curtain call came down and I called half hour for the next show. As our audience aged, as people had other opportunities to do things on a Saturday night, we weaned away one of the 9:30s, then another, then others. So we now do have still 2 6 o'clock shows that are odd in our schedule, but it's because we have subscribers who really liked coming to the theater early, going to dinner afterwards. So that's one aberration of Meadow Brook and the audience. Some of our audience has been here as long as I have. In terms of my job as the stage manager, when I first started here, it was all by hand. We had no typewriter in the office.
So you had to write out everything.
Yes. There was no Google Calendar. There was no email to get messages to people. People didn't have cell phones, so it was a different way of doing the same kind of job.
Well, yeah, but it must have taken you much longer to get things done.
Yes, it did. Back in those days, we did 8 shows in the subscription, and there were 2 full-time stage managers, and we alternated shows. So I'd be in rehearsal for a month and performance for a month while the other stage managers were rehearsing. Now, the last decade or so, I've been the only full-time stage manager. I rehearse the show, I get it open and call the first 2 weeks of performances, then the production manager goes on an ASM contract to finish the run because I'm starting rehearsing the next show. And there's just not enough hours for the day for me to be in rehearsal and performance at the same time with our schedule.
So let me back up a little bit. First of all, I want to say this. If there was ever an advertisement for Meadow Brook, and come to Meadow Brook so we can get that 9:30 show back again, because you're out there, you want to come see the shows, I think this is the time to do that. So where are you from originally?
Upstate New York. I grew up on a dairy farm,
Okay.
about 10 miles away from Ithaca, New York, which has Ithaca College and Cornell University. So even though it was a rural experience of growing up, I had exposure to arts that was, just down the road. So I saw Magic Flute when I was in 6th grade. I saw touring productions of Chinese opera. I saw all kinds of things. We had Cornell University students would come to our farm to see how an American farm would. So, like, I met what would have been the king of an African nation if his country hadn't gone democratic. He was the oldest son of the first wife of the previous king. So I had kind of an unusual experience for just growing up and milking cows.
Yeah, you were milking cows, and you're also watching ballet. I mean,
Right.
That's amazing.
But I knew I did not want to milk the cows every morning and every night of every day forever. So I have a job that doesn't necessarily pay me a lot more than a dairy farmer might make.
But at least you don't have to get under the cow.
I have a lot of variety. I'm in rehearsal for a month. I'm in performance for a month. Different shows, different challenges, a different group of people each time. So it's a trade-off. I've certainly enjoyed doing it, or I wouldn't have done it for this long.
Wow. And that is part 1 of my videos with Terry Carpenter. Don't forget to tune in next time for part 2, where we'll be talking about more stuff. If you like what you see, go ahead and subscribe at The Inspired Actor on YouTube right here, or on Facebook at Michigan Checkoff. Just search Michigan Checkoff and you'll find me, and join my group. So we'll see you soon.